Are you ready to go around the world? Sit back, relax, and buckle your seatbelt as we take off for an adventure. It's jet-lag free but filled full of fun and travel insights. The only thing you'll need to pack is a sense of humor. Time for the award-winning travel show, Around the World.
And welcome Globetrotters and armchair travelers to another edition of Around the World. I'm your host with the most. I'm with Martha Bull. No, Martha Bull in studio with her dog Polo, the travel dog. And I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger, the travel dog too. Woof, woof.
He likes to travel too.
We are going to be going all over the globe today. We've got such a great show lined up. Richard Torin is going to take us to Outer Mongolia on a choo-choo train of luxurious proportions. Yeah. Then we've got the star of the newest show on KCET called SoCal Wanderer. Rosey Alvero will be joining us and telling us all about her first trip that she went out to Anacapa Island off the coast of Santa Barbara and then up to Ojai in Ventura County. Yeah, so it's going to be some really exciting places to go.
Bike ride.
And then Steve Hogerman is going to get us into some hot water. Yeah. Steve Hogerman is the man about town and the man that you want to go traveling to Italy or to France with. He's going to take us to some fabulous hot springs that are actually au naturel out there in the wilderness.
And lots of mud.
And lots of mud and lots of hot water and probably a little pasta on the side. So we've got this and much, much more on this edition of Around the World. But first it's time for travel news.
Yeah, there we go.
Travel news is brought to you by the internet website, atw.tv. atw.tv is the first place to go, even to visit the last place on Earth.
If you love to travel, but you can't pay to do it, there are a number of jobs where travel is part of the job and may pay you well on top of it. Being an airline pilot is one of the better paying travel jobs. It can pay over $200,000 per year. Not only does an airline pilot get to check out the destinations that they fly to, the airline also pays for their hotel rooms, meals, and ground transportation. Plus, airline pilots and their immediate families get almost free travel on the carrier that the pilot flies for. Flight attendants also get some of the same benefits that airline pilots get, except at a much reduced salary, around $30,000 per year. A cruise ship director is another job that offers a lot of destination visits as part of the job. The salary can range from $50,000 to $150,000 depending on the cruise line. You need to have great people skills, be organized, good public speaking, and able to take charge of activities. A travel publicist works with the media and can either be exclusive to a travel business such as a hotel, cruise line, or even country, or can work for a PR firm that represents numerous travel clients. Average salaries are in the $110,000 to $120,000 range. They get to take journalists on press trips and travel agents on fam trips and also attend travel trade shows. Travel writers, bloggers, reviewers, and researchers are not known for making big salaries. The average compensation is around $40,000 per year. The competition is very strong in this field, and there are many writers who will work for free in exchange to have an all-expense-paid trip. The travel and tourism industry is one of the largest industries in the world. With over $7.6 trillion in 2016, it continues to grow and offer many opportunities.
Since I was already in Europe, I wanted to find a really fun and exciting way to get myself back over to New York from London.
This was my first time on a ship, and people did ask me why I was starting with a transatlantic crossing and not just a weekend Caribbean cruise.
My mother and her family took the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth to Europe. Growing up hearing her talk about this amazing trip, I'd always heard of Cunard and the Cunard Queens, and when I could, in 1998, I took my first transatlantic crossing on the Kiwi 2.
Just remember that first view of the ship. It's just glorious.
Just to walk on that ship for the first time, the massive scale, she's just a magnificent liner. She's not a cruise ship, she is a true ocean liner.
And then when you enter the area, the vestibule, they have lineup of Cunard employees in their dress outfits to greet you, and you do feel really Hollywood.
I expected it to be a very elegant experience, and it certainly lived up to that.
It was a 5-star treatment. This is a 5-star floating hotel.
You really feel special. They treat you like everyone's in first class.
The service doesn't change according to the level of the cabin that you're on. It's consistent throughout the ship, and they call that Cunard White Star service, and it's outstanding.
There's something to be said for the luxury of familiarity and excellent customer service, and things that you know, but you have the excellent opportunity to experience something new every time you get on that ship.
You can't fill up 7 days with the amount of things there are to do on the ship.
There was plenty to do during the day. We've had lots of relaxation time. We went to the spa.
Every 10 to 15 minutes, something new is starting from sunup to sundown every day.
I didn't feel this need to get off at a different port and visit a city. I was 7 days on the ship. I had loads to do. I could relax when I wanted to. Food available all the time. Entertainment, shows, insight program, educational programs.
There's something for everyone.
It's been lovely. The food, the drink, the people, the atmosphere.
As a solar traveler, every time you take a transatlantic crossing, you could be anybody you want. When I pull on my beautiful red ball gown, I am a Hollywood star.
Being able to dress in formal wear for dinner a few times was lovely.
But if you want to be casual and you don't want to dress up, you don't have to. You know, we're such a small little speck on that vast ocean. It just makes you reflect.
And it forces you to get to know yourself better and your traveling companions better. It's unique, and I would encourage everybody to try it.
It's a trip of a lifetime. I challenge anybody to try to just do it once. It's very addictive.
And cruising is something which really gets a grip of you.
There's no better way to get back and forth across the ocean, and if you're even considering it, I say just go for it.
And you won't regret it. The only regret is, why didn't you do it sooner?
It's been an experience I won't forget.
fall on hard times. There are lots of families in our community that can't afford to feed their families. That means kids go to school hungry, and their parents don't even know where the next meal will come from. The Unity Shop treats these families with respect, allowing them to shop in the free food store for stuff their families like and use.
Right now, we are desperately in need of funds to buy turkey and chicken for families who will go without this holiday season. If you can help, please go to unityshop.org.
And we're back here on Around the World. I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger, the lovely Martha Bull in the co-pilot seat as usual.
I should be piloting.
You should be, really. We got to get you a little
I'm more
cap.
responsible.
much more responsible. I'm going in the back having a few drinks, taking shots, you know. But
Cool.
Anyway, we've got a great show, as we said today. And first up, we're going to go somewhere far away, Outer Mongolia.
Yeah,
have you ever been there? No, nor have I.
But
in fact, I don't know many people who have been anywhere in a place called Mongolia. I've had Mongolian cooking, you know, the wok thing. It's kind of amusing. Well, this guy is really amusing. He's coming in studio. He is the owner of Clarets, and he's in town, just back from the Far East. He's far out. His name is Richard Torin. Richard, welcome aboard.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, sir. Thanks for coming in. And you know, you've been on the road. I saw photographs of your journey. How did this come about? Why would you even go to Outer Mongolia?
Well, you go by train.
Yeah.
And
that's how you did?
Yes.
But where do you start?
We started in Vladivostok, which is on the coast of the Sea of Japan. And
so it's the eastern side of Russia?
Yes. We actually, you can fly to Seoul or Tokyo, and it's actually only a 2-hour flight.
Oh, so it's very close.
Yes. Well, relatively.
Yeah, I mean, as the bird flies.
Yes.
And but it's also very Russia, right?
It's very Russia. Vladivostok is an old Russian seaport with a population of about 1 million people, and it was actually closed off to foreigners until 1990.
Really?
Was it because it was military? Or?
Military. Now it's not. The weather was dreadful, but it was hot. It rains a lot out there. But
it's like Alaska, right? I mean, it's up at that same parallel.
Yes, yes. But you have to...
Do they have caviar, by the way?
I attended a dinner with wild beluga caviar, which was the finest meal I've ever had.
Wow.
It went on and on and on. Your tongue would have been hanging out.
And did they serve it with bellinis, or how do they serve it?
They served it in bowls, and you just scooped it up.
No, that sounds so decadent. It sounds like just in time for another revolution.
It was very decadent and wonderful.
And so you had a nice meal before you started out on your journey.
And the train is the Trans-Siberian Express.
So was that a historic train? Because there used to be one though in Vladivostok to Moscow, right?
You have to. The Trans-Siberian Railway was built by, I think it was Tsar Nicholas, and it goes back 100 years. However, we didn't do that. We went on the BAM. The BAM was a project started by Stalin, and the idea was to attract investment and people to live in inner Siberia, because Russia has huge surpluses of natural resources. But so severe is the climate that it didn't really work. So the first few days, once we got on the train, we visited towns like Sretensk and Tinder, before you can say it's not where it started, in fact.
I was going to wonder, did you go online? Did you meet anybody? Come on my train, choo-choo, you'll be the caboose. Never mind.
Thank you. I thought I'd leave the humour to you.
Sorry.
Wherever you see Soviet architecture from the communist years, it is totally and utterly depressing, because it didn't matter what the geographic setting was, they just stuck cheap buildings up, which are all falling apart now anyway.
Right.
And since the infrastructure was never developed, the towns are depressing, the people are depressed, and you're watching a part of life just fading away. The population of most of these towns has decreased by about 50%.
Where are they going? Are they just dying, or are they moving?
They're moving to bigger cities, and they're moving. So Siberia has a landmass equal to the equivalent of the continental United States. This is what you're dealing with. There are 11 time zones between the Far East, which is Kamchatka, and Moscow.
Wow.
And there's half the population of the United States.
Well, you hear Siberia is synonymous with, like, you don't want to be there.
That's where you go when you're bad, right? They send you to Siberia.
Yes, except
to chill out.
It's not all like that.
Yeah?
For example, we went to Irkutsk on the 5th day. Irkutsk is a thriving town, full of new buildings, full of investment. You can see it. Nightclubs, restaurants, new construction, new infrastructure.
What's bringing the people there?
The part of Siberia which has succeeded in terms of the search for raw materials. It can't. I mean,
just all the natural resources.
It's so big that you can't. It can't. I mean, there aren't enough people, and it actually failed because not enough people went. Siberia is quite flat, endless tundra, endless days when you don't see anybody.
So what do you do on the train all those time? You're eating and drinking, right?
You sleep, you eat, you drink, you have lectures. The food was really wonderful, and you'd be surprised when you get on the train, you say, 12 days, how are we going to pass it? And it flies by.
Wow.
Literally. So just some practical questions. Do you have a shower in the train?
All cabins are en suite.
So they have their own shower?
Yes.
And bathroom?
Yes.
Wow.
There were 8 carriages, and we were the train.
And that was it. And what do they charge for 12 days on this?
They charged about £7,500 a person, which is about $9,000 a person.
Includes all your meals, everything.
Includes all your meals,
drinks,
excursions,
but you have
drinks.
You have to get there though.
And 3 days at the Shangri-La Ulaanbaatar when we got to Mongolia.
That was the final destination.
Yes. So it's not a cheap trip, but everything is first class, and you get actually tremendous value for money. I would say GE Travel, anybody who wants to contact you, Nipper, I will give the website. I can totally recommend it because they do wonderful trips to the Caspian. They do the Silk Road. They go all over the place. It's wonderful.
Who were the people that were on board? I mean,
we had 40, there were only 42, so it was a light load. There were 14 nationalities. Mark.
Interesting.
Wow.
Fantastic. We had a real United Nations. We had Brazilians, we had Portuguese, we had Australians, we had Kenyans, we had Ugandans, we had English. It was American, obviously. And the age range was 32 to 82.
So you were the 82?
Yes, I was at the senior end of it.
So it's called Golden Travel. Golden Eagle Travel?
It's actually called GE Travel, but Golden Eagle Travel, yes.
Golden Eagle Travel,
yes.
If you want to look it up on the web. Any safety concerns when you're going through these places that are sort of sound like they're Wild West?
A few years ago, I went on the train through Iran, and it was because it went from Budapest through Turkey, it was very heavily covered by the press. And the owner, whose name was Tim Littler, was misquoted as saying, on our train, there is more wealth than in many of the places we visited.
That's what you want to have out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you're going through these ravines 100 kilometers from Aleppo with ISIS, and you're thinking, oh my God. But that's an extreme case, and generally speaking, I've done 7 of these trips through 4 continents, I've never had a second's problem or doubt.
Do they have people that are armed on board, do you assume?
No, but I mean, we're recognized as tourists. There's never been any alarm. And I don't think we'd go any place that's overtly dangerous.
Yeah.
When you go along the way, did you stop and have some meals in the towns?
Yes, we did.
Anything memorable or curious?
We had a barbecue on Lake Baikal. Everything in Russia, it's like Texas, except Russian style. Everything's big. Lake Baikal contains 25% of the world's freshwater supply. It is 600 kilometers long.
Wow.
Huge.
And we had a barbecue on this spectacular scenery on the edge looking into the river. And it was just wonderful to see. Russia is a really complex country in so many ways.
Huge.
It's huge. The people are different. The politics are different. But, the Russians, they look very gruff. But they're like sort of people with a layer of grime over. You take the grime away, and they're lovely. They're funny, and they're very self-deprecating. And it was really a treat. And then we went from Lake Baikal. We crossed the border, and then we went into Mongolia. And Mongolia is probably the most different country I've ever been to. It is the 19th largest country in the world. It has a population of only 3 million, and 1.5 million live in Ulaanbaatar, and not much has changed since Genghis Khan was around.
And there's a picture of you with Genghis Khan.
Yes, there is a picture of me. And the population is very itinerant. They live in yurts, not in the city, although on the outskirts you can see them, which are traditional. They're obviously they're like tents, except for the fact they're made to withstand a Mongolian winter. They're nomadic. And to see, unfortunately, Ulaanbaatar is being built as a 21st century city, and even worse than that, it's being constructed by the Russian and Chinese because it's sandwiched between Russia and China, who are equally after its mineral interests, because it's very rich in minerals. So it's not a pretty city. But you get outside, and it's just spectacular.
Wow.
Certainly not a place I would think to.
We went to the Nadam Games, their annual Olympics. Ankle bit. They take bits of ankle and knock skittles down. It's a bit different.
It sounds like an amazing experience, Richard. Well, gosh, thank you so much for coming in and sharing it with us today.
I want to spend another hour talking about this.
Yeah, but you have to go to LA, right?
Yes, I do.
He's a man on the move, always on the move. Well, it's great to see you. Remember, check it out. Golden Eagle.
Yes, getrains.com. www.getrains.com.
Wonderful. Well, we sure appreciate you coming and sharing that with us.
Pleasure.
And we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to go and find out all about our own backyard from someone who's just come into town. We're excited to find out about what's happening with SoCal Wanderer. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Unity Shop, celebrating 100 years of guiding low-income families to self-sufficiency. In times of disaster, no one responds to families in need like the Unity Shop. Immediate assistance with food and clothing, and long-term assistance providing anything disaster victims need to get back on their feet, all with compassion, with dignity, for as long as you need us. To find out more, log on to unityshop.org.
Every morning you could count on it being there with the rise of the sun. We're proud to say we've been there every day with you. The Santa Barbara News Press plans to continue sharing the news of the day with you all through the year and beyond. It's nice to know there are some things you can still count on. The Santa Barbara News Press, serving Santa Barbara since 1855.
The Colossus of Rhodes, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Just tune in to the award-winning travel show Around the World, live on Thursdays on AM 1290 and at www.atw.tv, with rebroadcasts on Thursdays at 8 p.m. and again on Saturdays at 10 a.m. for the only list that really stands out and can stand the test of time.
And we're back here on Around the World. I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger. The lovely Martha Bull is not hitting me yet. I must be not misbehaving enough for you.
It's okay.
No,
it will
warm
happen.
Up. We're going to warm up. Hey, we have something so exciting coming up here in California. A new program is going to be on KCET called SoCal Wanderer. And we are going to have the star,
exactly.
The host of that show is going to be right here in studio.
Rosey's going to be with us.
Rosey Alvero is going to be joining us, but let's take a look at the video first.
Today, I'm headed just outside of LA for a full-day adventure to get to know our beautiful California. Let's go exploring together. When you're coming here, you're really going to see something unique. Wow.
Here comes the slices now.
Rosey to Ojai. This is beautiful. Cheers. just gets cooler and cooler.
Now.
And we're back.
And we're back.
That was
what
great.
about Rosie? She's right here. Rosie Alvero, welcome.
Hi.
So good to have you in studio
I'm happy
with us.
to be here.
You are a globe trotter, and looking at that promo, it makes me feel like you're going to find out more about Southern California than most of us Southern Californians know.
Yeah, I hope so. I think so.
I mean,
that's the goal.
How did this show start? What was the impetus of it?
So the show started as a blog on KCET. And now it's evolved into an on-air show.
Good for you.
And is it just limited to Southern California, or are you the SoCal Wanderer and you're allowed to go anywhere?
Maybe I'm the SoCal Wanderer and I could wander anywhere.
Where do you?
We're thinking you're going to go to Siberia, right?
Why not? Why not?
On that choo-choo. I don't know. It sounds kind of. I'd rather go to Anacapa Island or Ojai.
Yeah, it's close to home. It's easy to get to.
Yeah. When you pick out places, do you choose where you're going to go? Do you have places in mind, or are you told you're going this place?
You know, I base where I'm going to go based on where there's people to meet up with, or if my friends want to go to a certain place. I go with the flow because I want to go everywhere, so I'm happy to go.
Do you take a cameraman with you, or how does that work?
For SoCal Wanderer, though.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. There's going to be a cameraman with me, probably 2, sound. There's a whole crew.
Whole team,
Yeah,
right.
whole team.
But when you go traveling, what makes a place exciting to you? Is it just the place, or is it people, the food?
It's definitely people and food. So if there's someone to see, or if it's because my friends want to go together to a certain place, and even more so if there's a certain kind of cuisine that I'm really interested in, or a restaurant or a chef who's there, then I'll definitely want to go there. But I want to go everywhere, so I don't have any limits.
Yeah.
You could throw out a country and I'll want to go.
Yeah.
And you're an adventurer too.
Yes.
You like to get out there and camp and hike.
Yes, I like to do it all.
Do
Scuba dive.
You scuba dive.
Yeah,
And do you
everything.
mountain climb? Do you do that kind of stuff?
I go rock climbing, but I can't do that right now. I broke my wrist in March. So I'm actually about to get back into that.
So in a way, SoCal Wanderer is an active lifestyle type
It is,
of
though. I
travel
mean,
show.
I find Southern California suits anyone's lifestyle. If you like to go surfing, if you like to go rock climbing, if you like to do long hikes, if you want to be in the desert, if you want to be in mountains, if you want to go fly fishing, all of that is right here. It really is right here.
You know what I did a couple weeks ago? I've been going out to Palm Springs for a very long
Beautiful
time.
out there.
I took the tram, and I'm going to talk about it in a couple
never
weeks.
done that.
Nobody. It's kind of like you lived in New York City and you never went to the Empire State Building until somebody came to visit and you went.
Right.
That's
Like King
the tram.
Kong.
Yeah, right. But the tram was like the biggest treat ever.
Yeah.
And you get up in there in the hiking, and
nice.
you can camp, and the restaurant up there is fantastic. So I mean, there's so many hidden jewels.
Yeah, there
in
is,
Southern
and there's
California.
even from LA, you can get here by train.
Right.
That's
oh,
true.
and
And you can take your
I
bike
love
here,
it.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
You can't take
So-
the dog though. That's the kind of.
Oh, you
bummer.
really can't?
Not
On the train?
Amtrak, no.
Oh, come on, Amtrak.
So to be a good travel reporter, you have to travel a lot. Have you been traveling a lot in your life?
I have been traveling a lot. I think it's a lot, but you could always go further, right? There's always more to explore. So
I mean, would you say you were born traveling? More
I
or less?
was traveling before I was born, as a matter of
So
fact.
your parents probably introduced you to that and probably supported, or family, or.
I think a lot of it came out of necessity, being in the Philippines.
Okay.
It's a third world country. There's not a lot of opportunity. That changed, obviously, in the 30 years that I've been alive. But my mom flew 2 days before I was born to have me born in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you've lived in France?
I've lived in France.
And then you've lived in. Did you
I've
live
lived
in the UK?
New York. I've lived in Belgium, where my husband's from. I've lived in San Francisco and in the Philippines.
So yeah, it's a real
That's
big
a
cross section
broad-
of the world.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you kind of know what's going on. Do you have a certain type of food that you're just drawn to, and if you knew you were going to cover it, you'd be going there?
I love all food so long as it's really fresh and high quality. It doesn't matter really what it is. I'm not that picky. I like to try everything. At the moment, though, I'd say I really love Peruvian food.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have a Peruvian restaurant.
Yeah, we did.
Ceviche and all of the great desserts, everything with dulce de leche. Yes.
Sounds so good.
Yeah.
When you go out and film, like you did in this first episode that we're going to show a clip of in a bit, you're out there with this film crew. How do you feel? I mean, you look so natural in the environment. Do you just sort of block them out of your consciousness, or does it work?
I'm very aware that they're there because they. Interacting with them is like interacting with the viewers and with the people who get to watch it. So I'm very aware that they're there, and I want to make sure that I'm asking the questions that viewers would probably ask as well. So it doesn't really bother me.
Right.
Like, it's.
But I mean, even like, watching something, it looks like just someone sort of shooting you from behind. You're not really. They're not.
No, they're.
I mean,
they're
everybody
not,
seems to. No one's looking at the camera going.
No, not at all. It's not.
Large, we're on TV.
Yeah, it's not. It's not invasive. It's very comfortable.
It is. So it works well.
Yeah.
And
it was a great crew. Great crew. So.
And they also are up to the active lifestyle. If Rosey says, "Okay, guys, we're going for a bike ride,"
they have to do it.
They all get on bikes.
They have to do it. And they have no choice.
You're gonna have a very healthy film crew.
Yeah.
I remember I did a story. I used to work for the local TV station as a reporter, and I remember I got sent out to cover the heat wave. And in Santa Barbara, if it goes over 75, all of a sudden it's
Everyone
like the end of the world. And we went out to Stearns Wharf, and they had a new thing where you could go and parasail, like off a boat, which was fantastic, and I loved doing that. But I happened to wear a dress that day, so I ended up.
You went up in the parasail.
No, I videotaped it and let my cameraman go up because I couldn't be seen in a dress parasailing. But so I mean, sometimes you do have to sort of do things.
Yes, you do have to think. Yeah, of course, you have to think about what you're going to wear.
Yeah, right.
And yes, of course.
Yeah.
So how many episodes have you done?
So we've shot just the one. That's the pilot, and we hope there will be more.
Right.
So tune in next
So
week.
it's Anacapa Island.
It's in Anacapa and Ventura Harbor and Ojai.
So this is on Tuesday, August the 7th at 8 p.m. on KCET. And also it will be available on the web, on YouTube, and on Roku and Apple TV as well, starting August 7th.
Yep, and on kcet.org.
Which is a website.
/ SoCal Wanderer.
All right, that's exciting. All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back from the break, we'll give you a little sample of this first episode, which is going to take you to an island that I've never been to.
I've seen it. I've been close. I've been to
We
Santa
look at it
Cruz.
every day,
Yeah.
but we've never been there. So we're going to find out. Our SoCal Wanderer take us to Anacapa Island. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sometimes people fall on hard times. There are lots of families in our community that can't afford to feed their families. That means kids go to school hungry, and their parents don't even know where the next meal will come from. The Unity Shop treats these families with respect, allowing them to shop in the free food store for stuff their families like and use.
Right now, we are desperately in need of funds to buy turkey and chicken for families who will go without this holiday season. If you can help, please go to unityshop.org. The Unity Shop, celebrating 100 years of guiding low-income families to self-sufficiency. In times of disaster, no one responds to families in need like the Unity Shop. Immediate assistance with food and clothing, and long-term assistance providing anything disaster victims need to get back on their feet, all with compassion, with dignity, for as long as you need us. To find out more, log on to unityshop.org.
Every morning you could count on it being there with the rise of the sun. We're proud to say we've been there every day with you. The Santa Barbara News Press plans to continue sharing the news of the day with you all through the year and beyond. It's nice to know there are some things you can still count on. The Santa Barbara News Press, serving Santa Barbara since 1855.
Roads, the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Just tune in to the award-winning travel show Around the World, live on Thursdays on AM 1290 and at www.atw.tv, with rebroadcasts on Thursdays at 8 p.m. and again on Saturdays at 10 a.m. for the only list that really stands out and can stand the test of time.
Smiling.
Our director told us we had to smile, and we're
Martha
laughing.
Bull's always smiling until I put my hand on her knee, and then she calls me Harvey. No, anyway, welcome back to Around the World.
Me too.
We're having a great time because we've got a special guest in studio, Rosey Alvero, who is with KCET's new show called SoCal Wanderer. She's the hostess of the show, and we just were talking a little bit about some of the places right around our own neighborhood to go traveling. And Rosey, you have already been around to a lot of good places. We have the first episode, a little clip coming up in a minute, where you went to a number of places. And tell me a little bit about what was the structure of that show and where you started and where you ended.
So we were thinking about a full day adventure, and you really can pack in a lot in one day. So we started off the day taking a ferry to Anacapa, which is the closest island of the Channel Islands.
Was that from Ventura?
From Ventura Harbor. So we also got to explore Ventura Harbor, talk to some fishermen, visit some restaurants there.
Did you use Island Packers?
Yes, Island Packers Ferry, yes. Super friendly, super nice, and they have a great gift shop.
On board?
Yeah, no, at the harbor, yes, they got a nice bandana. And then we took the bike path from Ventura to Ojai, that's about 16 miles.
You rode it all the way?
Yeah. Yeah, and halfway I met up with an ex-mayor of Ojai. She was so nice, Susa Francina, and then we biked all the way into town. Then I had dinner at a fabulous restaurant, The Nest. I've already been back.
Sure.
Oh, you know the restaurant?
I
used to live so good. And so it's run by two sisters. They're super nice. And then I had the privilege of going to Thatcher Observatory.
It was just a Thatcher school, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Wait, now, can anyone go to the observatory?
No, it's private. So I feel really lucky that I was able to go, because how many of us have actually been able to look through a real telescope to look at the stars and the moon and different planets? I was blown away. And I was shocked also that I've never done this before.
And so did you like look at the moon or Mars?
I got to see.
she didn't look. She just
I didn't look at
closed her
anything. No, there was supposed to be a meteor shower, but we didn't see any of that. That's fine. I got to see the moon, and I thought it would be spectacular to see it during a full moon, but as Dr. John Swift told me, it's actually great to see it when there's a shadow so that you can see features of the moon. And then I also got to see Jupiter. And if I had waited 2 more hours, I could have seen Saturn, but they were like ready to kick me out. I couldn't camp there. Otherwise, I would have waited for Saturn for sure.
We should probably take a look.
Let's take a look at this clip. This is from the first episode of SoCal Wanderer, and let's join Rosey as she takes us to Anacapa Island.
On these islands to nest and to breed, so it's really important that we keep it safe for them. This is a nest. That's his nest. He says you're getting. Oh, and there's eggs in there.
Wow, we're so. Oh my, it's right here.
Right off.
I mean, you really shouldn't step off the trail because you could squish one of these.
You gotta watch where you're walking.
It's
out here.
right here.
That parrot is definitely telling us these are my eggs. Don't get any closer.
We'll just look at it from here in awe and admiration. I've never seen eggs in a nest.
It's pretty special. So these birds nest out in the open. They don't nest in trees or burrow. They're right out in the open, and so they're at risk of predators. You don't see a lot of nests like this on the mainland. And what a lot of people I think don't know is that about 99% of seabirds in California come from the Channel Islands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the western gull here. Almost every western gull that you see on the mainland came from Anacapa or some of the other Channel Islands.
Wow, I had no idea. What are these gulls doing on top of each other? What are they doing?
Wow. Okay, so what were those birds doing?
Well, I don't know. Kelly kept it vague, but I think they were repopulating.
I mean, that's something, that nest. I mean, I've never seen a nest so close to a walking path.
Well, I've never seen a nest with bird eggs in it, ever.
Yeah.
But it was not only just the nest, it was right on the path. So if you accidentally took a step off the path, you actually could have killed these
It could have been huevos rancheros.
Yeah, and those seagulls are no joke. I mean, every nest, we probably saw 5 or 6 different nests right along the path, and every nest had the mother bird right there, like ready to take you down if you were going to harm those eggs. Yeah, very protective.
So you can go out to the island for a day, but you can't stay there, right? Or can you?
Oh, I believe you can camp there.
Oh, you could actually stay.
Yeah, you can camp there. But it's actually perfect day or half day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, is that your jewelry? You're shaking your jewelry around.
Travel dog is shaking. Sorry about
that. She wants to go to Anacapa.
Yeah, she does. She says, I'm ready for a hike.
Rough.
Sounds good to me.
And so it's a good full day then out there.
Perfect. Yeah, you could even do a half day. We did a half day. We were back in time to have lunch.
Oh,
and
could you eat out there as well?
You could. It would be perfect. They do actually have tables and chairs.
Do they have a snack shop or anything like that?
No. I don't know if they have a snack shop, but they do. They have like a visitor center, and they have the top of a lighthouse in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
it was very cool.
Yeah. You have those Farnell lenses, those amazing lenses on the top of those lighthouses like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's sitting in the visitor center. It's very cool. And you can sign the book and everything.
Yeah.
Get a stamp if you collect the stamps.
Wow,
how fun is that?
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, and Ojai is also a hidden jewel.
Ojai is amazing. I had no idea. You always think, I don't know, I think Angelinos have this idea of what Ojai is. People go there and do yoga and like whatever. And it's actually amazing. And everyone's really nice, and you get this sense that people who live there really love living there, and they really take every measure to protect it, and everyone just apprappreciates how magical Ojai is. And it really is. It's beautiful.
It's a very spiritual community.
They have great
lots
food.
Of fruit.
Yeah, great citrus, and it's beautiful. And it's not that, the pixies.
And there's a restaurant there, I think it's still there, it's called The Ranch.
The Ranch House? You remember
I think it's still there, and it's all, you would love it because it's all farm to table.
And literally the farmers at
because the farms are right there.
It's like outside.
It's great, and then it's not that far from the beach either, so you get a little bit of everything. It's like in this cute little valley. The drive there is also really nice. I remember driving there ahead of the shoot, and thinking, oh my gosh, what am I driving into? This road alone is beautiful, and there's lupins everywhere, the purple flowers.
And it's also pretty to go up and out of Ojai through Santa Paula.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a cool...
There's a spa there called the Oaks of Ojai.
Right.
And it's run by a woman named Sheila Clough, who was a friend
I
of
didn't
my
get to go to a spa, so
Well,
I'll have to do that one next
This
time.
might not have been, you don't need to go to the spa. This was a spa my mom needed to go because it was a spa where you exercise and lose weight and get in shape.
Oh,
but they put
water
you on-
aerobics?
Maybe.
I think it had
They-
everything.
a lot of hiking and one of these minimalist diets where
Yeah.
you eat almost nothing. And so she's there with a bunch of other people all starving. And and what they would do is they would sneak out at night and go down the main street where the archways are. And there's a wonderful ice cream store there.
Oh, they
And
sneak
they'd
out,
go there and have
load up on the sugar.
hand-packed ice cream and there's some candy. And
So
then they'd
I
come
could
back.
do that on the show too. I love ice cream.
I do too.
There's a lot in Ojai to see.
Well, there's just a lot in Southern California and California in general. I mean,
absolutely.
I've lived here a long time. I also grew up part of my life in California, and there's still new things to see. And even the ones that I visited before, I want to visit again.
Wow. Well, Rosie, we cannot wait to watch the next
Oh,
episodes
excited.
of
So tell us
SoCal
again,
Wanderer.
when is
and
it?
again, it's going to start August the 7th on KCET. And you can also check it out on KCET's website, kcet.com, and as well as
.org?
.org rather, sorry.
Yeah.
And we hope you'll be back and tell us more about your travels.
I hope so too. I can tell you about a new place I discover.
Yay.
That'd be great.
Fantastic. Thanks
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me.
All righty. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Steve Hogerman is going to take us to get in some hot water
There you
in
go.
Italy. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. She's still smiling. It's amazing. You know, when the camera's not on, she's spanking me. It's so much fun. Welcome back to Around the World. Steve Hogerman, who's going to be joining us, is the founder of the Santa Barbara French Festival, and now he is a super VIP private tour guide. If you want to go to Italy or to France, this is the man to call, and we are thrilled to have him in studio.
And
Hey.
off the beaten track. That's what I like to do, and that's where I like to go.
You've always been known to find out the most secret, hidden spots, things people don't normally go to see.
It's what I love.
Yeah, and so today you're taking us to Italy. Right?
Yeah, you were talking about hot springs in a previous show, so I sent you a couple videos, and you said, come on and tell us about them. So here I am. Boy, I've been to a bunch of hot springs in Italy.
Well, Italy is known for a lot of natural geothermal springs because just the
It's ready to blow up. You've got Etna, you've got Vesuvius.
Yeah, sure.
The whole country's ready to blow. There's a lot of hot water under that dirt.
And then there's also those hot Italian tempers too. You know?
And that hot Italian spices in the food. Puttanesca, you bet.
So if you're looking at going to these hot springs, these are springs that are actually out in nature, right? They haven't been developed like
there are
resorts.
tons of fancy-dancy hot spring spas.
Yeah, Montecatini, famous one, for example.
But what I
Tuscany,
like is in Tuscany, for example, there is a fancy spa, Saturnia, and you can spend the big bucks to go up there with the wealthy crowd. But what I like to do is go down where the water flows outside of the spa, tumbles over a waterfall into these little natural mini pools that were filmed by the calcification over thousands of years. And there's like 50, 60 Italians sitting around in these natural hot tubs with bubbling sulfuric water, not sulfur, not acid, but and you reek of sulfur for 2 or 3 days. Doesn't matter how many showers you take. And you're out in the middle of this field, in the middle of nowhere. It's fantastic.
All right, well, let's take a look at this first one, which is in the town of Caronte.
It's outside of Lamezia Terme, hot.
Yes. Yeah.
And then there's this little community called Caronte, and it's hot springs of Caronte, off the beaten track.
Let's take a look.
Andiamo to Caronte.
Here we are at the hot springs of Caronte, outside of Lamezia Terme, deep in southern Italy in Calabria. The water flows out into a nice warm pool. There are about 15 people here midweek, pretty much all Italians, a couple French people. And then over here the water flows out. And these nice Italian ladies have covered themselves with Italian mud for their facial. Come belle! The hot springs of Caronte in Calabria, Italia.
I'm hot. That was hot. All right. So
Me, I feel relaxed.
you feel like a new man and a little more pasta.
I feel like a wet noodle, yes. Like a wet fettuccine.
So that looks like a fascinating spa. But now the next one you taking us to is a place.
Should we talk about this spa?
Well, sure. Tell us
Okay, so
more.
there's this fancy spa, mostly for medical treatments, which if you're lucky, you can still get a doctor's prescription to go to a hot spring in Italy, although they're trying to phase that out. But just down away from the spa, the water comes out of the ground. There's that natural pool you saw there. And the sweet little hotel just down the road. Do you want to hear a story?
Yes.
So the day I arrived after dark. I had a nice dinner of gnocchi and salad and a glass of wine, but I wanted to walk up and see what the hot spring was like. It's just out in nature, under the stone wall that you saw. So I went up there, and there was no one around. It's about 11 at night, and the full moon is up. Oh. And I skinny dipped in that hot spring in Italy.
No.
Wow.
And then the next day I went back with my bathing suit on.
That's exciting. Did you not have any video of that, no?
Not on the channels you watch.
All right, let's move along to the island of Volcano.
Volcano, which is, you can get there from Calabria, which is sort of this part of Italy, the upper part of the foot. Or you can get there from northern coast of Sicily. You got to the Lipari Islands. Sometimes they're called Lipari, sometimes they're called the Aeolian Islands.
Or Aeolian,
so there's Stromboli, and there's Lipari, and a couple little islands, and then there's Volcano.
And they're all volcanic.
Yeah, they're blowing steam all the time.
You got black sand beaches and all kinds of stuff like that going on.
Let's take a look at
But this island, Volcano, you can only get there by boat, right? Or swim.
Yeah,
there's no other way.
Yeah, by boat.
All right, well, let's take a quick peek at the spa of the mineral waters of Volcano.
Here we are at yet another hot spring. This time we're on the island of Volcano off the coast of Sicily and Calabria in southern Italy. And these are the famous bubbling mud baths. Warm water comes up and people cover themselves with volcanic mud like a fancy facial. Here's my French friend to show you just how healthy she looks. Bonjour Rachel, comment ça va?
Bonjour Steve, ça va bien, merci. On profite.
Oui, comme tu es belle.
Moi aussi, faire pousser.
Well, maybe I should say that was the mineral mud of Volcano. I remember going
brown.
there, and that is like, you can get really like a mud man in there.
And as you saw, my French friend Rachel did exactly that. She said, "Do you think I should put mud in my hair?" And I go, Perché no?
Yeah.
So she was completely covered. She looked like a mud lady.
Yeah.
And
The temperature is what, about 80 or 90 degrees?
It's like a warm bath, and there's little bubbles coming up. But you got to be careful, because you see that old Italian guy sitting over in the corner with a smile on his face. You never know if that sulfur-smelling bubbles are from nature or maybe a little gastrointestinal bubbling. And then you can go right off the shore there too, into the salt water. There's hot water coming up there too.
Oh, that's
cool. That's amazing.
Cool.
Is there anything else to do on Volcano besides sit in the mud?
There was a little, we were just there a couple hours. And, right next to the hot springs, there's hot gaseous air coming up, and they have a bench set right in front of it so that you can inhale that. I don't know if that's good for you or not, but they think so. And a little bite to eat. Not much happening in Volcano though. It's pretty sleepy. The main town is on the island of Lipari.
Yes.
Where it's a cute little white village and a lot of places to eat. And in summertime it would be packed. I was there in October and it was the weather was nice and not crowded at that time.
Now, with all that mud on you, is there a place to shower it off?
Yeah, it was pretty cheap to get in there. A couple euros you had to give them. Rather primitive, and little simple changing rooms, and then at the end you plug in a couple more, whatever the European equivalent of quarters is, and a euro or two, and shower off. Yes,
it's weird. I mean, we went to a spa in northern Italy one time, and they just caked us in mud. And I have to say, it was not my favorite thing. It was everywhere. And it did take a long time to shower all that mud
I'm more
off.
into warm, soothing water than mud. But I can tell you another mud story about another hot spring in Italy.
Right.
On the island of Ischia.
I love Ischia.
And I'm going to be...
Which is right near Capri.
Capri, the little forgotten island of Procida, and then Ischia, which is the biggest of the islands.
Yes.
And it's a dormant volcano, the volcano of Epomeo. And there it is, sitting right off the coast of Naples. And you go. There's hot spring spas. Almost every hotel has a hot spring down in their basement or out in their yard. And then there's a couple like Ngombo. You can pay a fee and go. It's like and you go into basically hot spring Disneylands with dozens of pools and slides. But my favorite hot spring on Ischia, you go out to the end of this road, then you go down the zigzaggy trail down to the shoreline and scalding hot water. You can't walk on the rocks in some places. In fact, there's a guy there that has mud that he's gathered up on the volcano, and he's putting it on people. It's his little side job. And he's cooking potatoes and eggs in this little hole in the lava rock. He scoops them out at the end of the day and puts them in a bag and takes them home for dinner. But so you go out there where the scalding hot water meets the Mediterranean, which is cooler, and you find some little pool there within the rocks, and the scogliera they call it, and where it's not too hot, not too cold, just right, like Goldilocks would like soaking in this spring, and you just sit there.
Sounds pretty great.
Sounds great.
Steve, if people want to know more about going on these specially guided tours that you're doing,
I'm going to take a couple, in fact, to Naples and Ischia this fall.
How best for them to get in touch with you?
You should go to my website, which now isn't as expansive as what I do, hiddenprovence.com. But I'll take you to Provence, I'll take you to Italy, I can take you almost anywhere in Europe. hiddenprovence.com.
Good
Great.
for you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Steve. And
Grazie a te.
we got to cool our jets for this week. It went by so fast, but we hope you enjoyed it. And thank you to our wonderful director, Michael Nicholson, to our floor director and editor, Ken Baxter, and to all of our friends at TVSB, and our producer, Nadia Bernardi. Grazie a tutti. We'll see you next time on Around the World. Happy trails.
Ciao.
Thank you for traveling with us today on Around the World. We hope you'll join us for another adventure next week. In the meantime, all of us at Around the World wish you happy trails.